This episode of the New Hampshire Business Show is sponsored by Everlasting Capital. If you're a small business and you need money and a bank won't give it to you, Everlasting Capital is here to help. In as quickly as a couple of days, you can have the funding your business needs for new equipment or anything else you need the capital for. So submit your application today and see how they can help you out. Hello everybody, welcome back to the New Hampshire Business Show. My name is Chris Pastrana, and today we're here with Andrew Kane of New Hampshire Float. How's it going?
Awesome. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. So let's get into it. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you guys do.
So, my name is Drew. I have a former career in corrections/social work.
Yeah.
And prior to getting into this float center, I was a juvenile probation officer. So I was stressed out. You know, I was dealing with a lot of pretty heavy stuff emotionally. And I've always been a little entrepreneurial. I had 6 or 7 businesses that I tried and failed at, and they just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I've always had it in my mind that I would like to own my own business. And I used to kind of look at it as I failed at all those businesses. But lo and behold, one day I was going out to lunch with a buddy. His father had a big building that was for lease or for sale.
Yeah.
I said, hey, why don't we put a float center in here? He said, yeah, okay, why not? So within a week, I whipped up a business plan and had all types of information on whether or not this would work. And within a week, his father sold the business, sold the building, went into under agreement. Mm-hmm. So that was out, but I had the business plan. Yeah. And the more I looked at it, the more I thought this would work. There's not another float center around within miles. So I said, let me see what I can do. So at probation, my training officer said, oh, what are you going to do? You still going to do that? Yeah. I said, okay, I'll do it with you. So just like that, we kind of put the wheels in motion to look for a place, and it took us about 7 months to find a location. Yeah. It was a former dentist office, so it was perfect. Yeah. There were over 20, I think it was 21 or 22 sinks in this 1,500 square foot place. Yeah. Pipes were everywhere. It had 5 different reclining chairs that had the spit sinks. Mm-hmm. So they all had plumbing. Yeah. And plumbing is a big deal for the float tanks. You need drains in every room. You need showers in every room. So that can get real expensive real quick, especially when you're cutting into the floors. Yeah. So we fell in love with the place immediately, but it wasn't for rent. It was for sale. So he said, okay, let's put our money together and buy the place, and we'll just build it as we can. Yeah. And it worked out. We bought the location, spent another 6 months building it after work, weekends, nights, weekends. Yeah. And we did everything. We hired a few key people, but we were involved the entire way, changing it from a dentist office to a 3-room float center. And cool. Yeah, it worked out perfect. We were able to design the rooms using all existing plumbing. Yeah. It saved us thousands of dollars.
Oh, absolutely.
And the dentist was so excited because it was empty for 18 months. And he had no clue what we were doing, but he was happy we were doing it. He was a retired dentist, couldn't wrap his head around the float center, but in that area, it's just all offices. Nobody wanted it. So, it kind of worked out that it was available and it was the perfect location. So after that, I immediately quit my job at probation to go all in. It's funny, like everyone who I trusted, cared about, and look up to in business told me don't quit your job. Mm-hmm. But then I read a lot and watch a lot of videos, inspirational videos, and the common theme of successful people I found was that you have to be all in. Mm-hmm. You can't half-ass it. You really have to commit, right? So that's how I looked at it. So I quietly gave my 2 weeks notice. I didn't tell anybody. Yeah. Not until after Christmas did I tell family that, I haven't been working there for a while. And things went well. We had a great Christmas, so that's good. It worked out. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Gift certificates. It was a great gift certificate when we first opened, so that kind of carried us into the winter. But it's I got into floating because I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast. Okay. That was how I got into it originally and heard about it. And back then, this was about 10 years ago, there was only one tank in all of New England, and it was in some lady's house. and I got her name and phone number on a forum.
Yeah.
And it said, call this number, ask for Tina. She'll sell you a float session. So I called up, asked for Tina, drove out to it was in Midwestern Mass, about an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
It was in her house. She wore all white. She had like a cape and a cloak. She's a real hippie lady, real out there. And it was in the first floor of a triple decker. One of the bedrooms was a float room. The living room was a lobby, and there was a bathroom on the other side of the living room. Mm-hmm. And you have to shower before getting into the water. So I showered, had a towel around my waist, walked by her. She said, "Have a good float." And I went in and floated in her bedroom, turned into a float room. And it was so far back that there were no lights in the float tank, and when the session was over, she would walk in and knock on the float tank. So that was a little weird. And you float naked. So to be in someone's house in the float tank, and she's in all white with a cape, come in and knock on the door to tell you the session's over, it was a little weird, but to this day, I remember when I left, the trees were greener, the sky was bluer, the clouds were whiter. Yeah. The image I have of driving home and how I felt and what I saw, like, still sticks with me. So I always went back. Not often, 2-3 times a year I would go. And then Float Boston and Somerville opened up. So that was a little bit closer. Yeah. So then I would go float down there. And I just enjoyed it. My friends thought I was crazy, especially to go to a lady's house. Yeah. Right? That's kind of weird. Yeah. So
have fun trying to explain that one. Like, yeah, I do this thing on the weekends. Don't judge me.
Yeah, totally. And, you know, I'm kind of a weird guy anyway, so I'll do things like that. Yeah. You know, I'm just weird enough to go check it out and see what this is about. Yeah, of course. You know? And I liked it. So I was open-minded to it. I liked it. And there was just not one around here. After Float Boston opened up, Portland, Maine opened up, and then here in New Hampshire, there's one up in Meredith. Okay. Still an hour away, right? Hour and 10 minutes away.
Yeah, it's odd because you'd think the way the state is laid out, you'd think Manchester, Concord, Nashville would have something
perfect.
No, you know.
Right. And I've since found out why they're not all over the place. Okay. Right. But that was the big catalyst. I wanted to float. And it also became a business opportunity. And when I did the research, and I made a list of all the yoga studios, holistic health stores, holistic doctors, martial arts schools, gyms, anything that I could think of that could potentially be a demographic for people to float. Yeah. And there was a lot. Within an hour, I figured I drove an hour and a half to float. People would drive maybe an hour to float. And so I did, you know, a little radius and found that right around the area that there was a lot of opportunity. I figured, hey, if we could get a little small percentage of this, we could at least stay open for a year. Yeah. Right? So let's see what happens. And it just kind of snowballed. It became one of those things that the more I became obsessed with it, the easier it became to overcome challenges. And nothing, where I failed at these other businesses, there became roadblocks that I didn't see how I could overcome them. There were obstacles that it just was a dead end. And when this happened, none of that was happening. Every time something came up, there was a way to figure it out. Yeah. And I don't know if that was my attitude or if it really was just stuff that we could figure out. You know, we just never really hit that major roadblock. Yeah. Nothing went as according to planned, but it worked out. So that's how I got into it. I got into it for body pain. There's a couple of different people that would use floating. It's people who have mental health issues and physical health issues. Physical health could be arthritis, fibromyalgia, recovery from a surgery. Yeah. People with hip replacements, knee replacements. We get a lot of that. They'll come in, float while they're recovering. And I should probably explain what actually is happening. All right. So, and then mental health, people who are stressed out, anxiety, PTSD, depression, or I need a break. I need to shut off. So I got into it for the body pain side, and since I've had access to it, the whole mental health side has become a huge help with me for anxiety in particular. Yeah. You know, running a business isn't the easiest thing to do, especially with no business background. Do not have a business background, so everything I'm learning is new. and it can be overwhelming at times. And floating helps me take that edge off completely. I shut off. It's my time to not deal with any of the stuff. It'll all be waiting there when I get out. It's not going anywhere. So I've used that as a major tool to help me, and I built this to float more.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Benefit all around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's something that I fell in love with right away, and I'm very passionate about it. I think everyone should float. Some people say, oh, this isn't for me, but I think that's for the people. If they did it 3, 4, 5 times, you have to train yourself to shut off and to relax and to be comfortable with doing nothing. Mm-hmm. Some people just can't shut off like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it's at.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so let's jump back into this because that was a very good explanation of kind of floating in your history. So let's get into like the actual details of floating. So what is floating?
Floating is also called sensory deprivation or isolation tanks.
Okay.
It's being by yourself in about 10 to 12 inches of water with about 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt. The water is warmed to the outside temperature of your skin. You float naked, so you have no sensory input. The air is roughly 90, 94 degrees. So the air, your body, and the water all kind of blend together. Mm-hmm. And when you're floating and not moving, the gravitational pressure is taken off of your body. So you're able to let go of all the tension in your muscles. Mm-hmm. So you have complete relaxation on that end. The buoyancy pops you up on top of the water. So things that are tight, your joints, muscles, everything loosens up a little bit. And because it's warmed to the outside temperature of your skin, it blends in with your skin, so your brain isn't really getting a signal that says, oh, something cold is touching you, something warm is touching you. Nothing is touching you according to your brain. Yeah. So you get this almost illusion of not feeling your body or not feeling like you're in water. Mm-hmm. It's a very unique sensation that's hard to put into words, and then once you do it, oh, I understand what you're saying. I get it. People always do that after their first float. Oh, I get it. And it's a unique feeling of not having a body in a good way. Yeah. The aches and pains are gone. Mm-hmm. Back aches. A lot of people with back issues float with us, and that kind of goes away because they're having no gravitational pressure on their body and the illusion of not feeling their body, if you will.
Yeah.
Ideally, it's dark, so the rooms have lights in them, but they're on motion detectors, so they go off when there's no movement. And then within the float tank or the float cabin, the user has control of a light. So the light's usually colored like a blue or a purple. Yeah. It's all about relaxing, so we stay away from white light. Recommended to shut the lights off. You can't see your hand in front of your face. It's pitch black. Yeah. So, and again, that goes to the sensory deprivation, to take away light, take away sound, and take away feeling, if you will. So once all that happens, an easy thing that can happen to a person who's floating is they fall into the theta state, which is in between consciousness and deep sleep. Yeah. It's a very relaxing place to be in, and that's where meditation occurs. And I do want to say, meditation I used to think was a really weird word and kind of a hippie out there word, and I didn't really understand it. And I meditate all the time now because I float. Mm-hmm. And I want people to look at it as a state of being with their mind and body. Like anger, sadness, happiness. Meditating is this state of time that you're feeling a certain way. That's all it is. And it's a very relaxed feeling. It's when nothing is bothering you. You're very present. That I always feel like I'm in the moment when I'm meditating. I'm not thinking about the past. I'm not thinking about the future. I've emptied my mind, and that takes away all the clutter in your mind, and you fall into this very relaxed state. That's where lucid dreaming can occur. Mm-hmm. Most people have had this happen. You've ever been on the middle of your bed and you're falling asleep, and then you twitch thinking you're falling off the bed? That happens in that theta state. So you're about to fall into deep sleep. And it's a phenomenon. They're not really sure. There's some theories, but they're not really sure why that happens. But in that state, stuff can happen. You can sometimes see things, see lights, hear things, lucid dream. You know, and I've had all these experiences of stuff. Some stuff I can't even explain, but it definitely helps you see how there's a mind-body connection, because when I have some type of deficiency, I can really feel it and I can focus on it. And I can almost send, if I focus on, let's say, my left calf, I get like an energy to my left calf. And I don't know what it is about my brain that's doing this, but you get this deeper connection to your body. It's very interesting. And we have pregnant women who float with us and have floated with us and have said they felt like they had a deeper connection to their baby, because they almost felt like they were in a womb and then had a baby that was in a womb, and they were both floating. And again, it's a very unique feeling and environment. So I don't obviously have a womb, but I'll take their word for it, you know?
Yeah, that's really cool. So where are you guys located physically?
We are in Londonderry Commons on one.
So right up the road.
Yeah, we're right up the road, right behind DC Cycles or Asahi. We're in a little office park back there. It's a quiet location. Nights and weekends, I don't even think there's another business going on in the building. We're the only ones there. Yeah, it's quiet. It looks like we're closed from the outside. That's intentional. We want people to leave their problems on the outside and walk into a place, and this happens a lot. People will walk in and look around and go, whoa, what is this? We do a lot with lighting and the music, and there's grass on the front counter. So it's a very different, unique place. There's nothing like it around. So it looks closed from the outside, then you open it and it's this little magical wonderland, you know?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I like that. That's pretty cool. So what do I want to say? So what's your hope for this move forward? You said your station right now, you have 3 pods, you said?
We have 3 rooms. Only 2 are completed.
Okay.
Part of all the negativity surrounding my friends and family, I was talked out of putting all 3 and starting off with 3. They're really expensive. So he said, okay, let's fill 2 of the rooms with float tanks. If it works, we'll add the 3rd. So the 3rd is about to go. I'm actually about to add water in it within, I'm hoping, the next 2 days.
Nice.
So we're expanding, so we'll have 3. And then ideally, I'm hoping to staff. I'd love to have more hours and do more floats. We've been well supported. We have a lot of members. We have a lot of returning customers. This is definitely something people are supporting and looking at as their time, even if it's just once a month that they float. It's we have some people who are runners, and they'll float around their marathon training. So ideally, we're kind of maxed out with the 3rd room. I can't expand more than that. I don't have room unless my neighbor decides to sell his unit. It's a business condos, which he said he won't. So for now, that's where it's at. And then I just want to get more people floating there. In the wintertime, it's really tough. We do book out quite a ways, especially after selling gift certificates. Everyone's coming in to use the gift certificates.
Exactly.
So just trying to get more hours to get more floats in. And this is such a new thing that every day we get people who say, someone told me about this. I don't get it. I've never heard of it. Tell me about it. So if you said, I'm going to get a massage, everyone knows what a massage is. But you could easily tell a room full of people, I'm going to float, and 3/4 of them won't know what that is. So getting that word out, the more people float, the more people hopefully spread the word about it. And it's a big word of mouth thing. We don't do a lot of advertising, because if someone sees that and doesn't know what it is, a picture's not going to convince them to do it. So as people float, have a positive experience, they tell so many people about it. So at this point, we have a lot of people who know somebody who has floated.
I'm saying advertising would be, I think, big for you guys right now, because as people start hearing it, they're going to start coming. Because if they know what cryotherapy is, which is becoming a thing, they're going to know what floating is soon after. Or even already, which is pretty cool.
And it's cool. Like right now is a cool time I think we're in a cool time. You have the internet where people can do their own research. You have kind of an anti-pharmaceutical society going on right now. People don't want to take a pill. So if there are other ways to help them with anxiety, with depression, with not taking pain pills because they have arthritis in their knees, people are looking for that. You know, I'll try anything.
Yeah.
Let me try this. And we get a lot of people with concussions who battle concussion symptoms.
Yeah.
This is a great spot for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's interesting to see how different people use it, but also that there's no, I mean, you could just come for the experience, right? I'd say that's a smaller portion of it, but most people have something wrong. They come in and find that benefit, and they don't want to go to their doctor who doesn't pay attention to them, sees them for 10 minutes and writes something down and says, here you go. Right?
Yeah, here's some medicine. Like, I don't want medicine. I want to do something that isn't medicine.
Right.
There's ways of healing that aren't involved in medicine, and even though it has a good place, some medicine is very useful. You know, like, I don't need it for everything.
Right, right. And there's definitely an old school, like, doctors. There's definitely a generation of doctors. That's what they do. They just write a script. Don't really listen. I mean, when I talk to people, a lot of them say, yeah, I feel like my doctor doesn't listen to me. They don't really have a conversation, right, and really figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think that's a cool time. And with that, people are being more open to other acupuncture, yoga, cryotherapy, all these other modalities that they're trying. They're at least trying. I just had a couple of big, badass biker guys come in and float, and they were two buddies who do these types of things together. And I would have never guessed it. Like, totally blew my mind. They do acupuncture. They've done yoga. They do these. I said, that's awesome, right? And so I think we're living in a world where people are looking for alternatives to the whole doctor thing.
I like that. You know? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So where do people reach out and find more about you, your business, and floating?
nhfloat.com. We have a lot of information on there. We are on Facebook and Instagram as well. Our Instagram is at nhfloattherapy. Facebook is nhfloat. What else? Call anytime, 603-216-5704. But you can book online. The scheduling is super easy. You can go online, pick a time. You can pick which room you want to be in. We are going to have an open house in the fall to show off the third tank, so keep an eye out for that. And we always do gift certificates, so when it comes up for some type of event, it's a great gift to share with people.
Yeah.
It's an experience, it's something different, it's unique, it's fun, and 9.9 out of 10 people have an awesome time doing it.
Yeah, I like that. Awesome. So thank you so much for joining me. This has been fun.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely check that out, and if you want to float, reach out, because I'm going to. It sounds like a good time. So everyone have a great day, and we'll see you next time.